okay? And you don't have to have a lead form right above the fold. Tristan elected, he wanted it right below the fold. That's totally okay too, but he's got that path of least resistance for the consumer when they want to volunteer their information and do business.
Hey everybody, welcome. This is going to be exciting. When I saw this come across the moderators board, I said, yeah, I got to grab this because it's something that, well, heck, I've been involved in for 20 some odd years. And, you know, I've watched a lot of the technology that we so conveniently get to see today that it makes it look so easy. I got to be on the back lines of it in the 90s. And today is something super powerful, something super important. And I'm here with somebody that has some mad ass skills. David Tom, he's going to show us how to use your website as a lead generation funnel and some custom things that they do. Matter of fact, he built Tristan. You might have heard of this guy, Tristan Ahamuda, however you want to pronounce it. He built their website, and we all know what Tristan does and how he's doing and the teams and everything that he managed. So David, welcome. Show us the secret sauce, brother.
Man, appreciate it. And this is our first time meeting, but I love your energy already, man. You can host every time. Let's do this.
It comes in small spurts.
Yeah, got it, man. So I'm going to just share my screen. I'm just going to do it in actual just PowerPoint mode. That way we can pivot between slides pretty quickly without any buffoonery going on. Can you see my screen okay?
I sure can. The man
Beautiful.
of mystery.
Awesome. So guys, thank you so much for being here. What we're going to talk about is how we're going to leverage custom websites in the real estate space. To set the tone for this, we're going to start off with some really quick statistics to shock you into action and to pay attention, okay? So when we're talking websites, it takes half a second for users to form an opinion about your website that determines whether or not they like your site and whether they're going to stay or leave, okay? So I got an opportunity to go spend some time at Google's data center in Arizona. I got invited out there to work on some, think tank-ish projects. And we were talking about bounce rates there in particular. And it was at that point in time, 2.4 seconds. Deep breath in, hold it, deep breath out. That's what you got. Capture somebody's attention before they're out. That's now half a second, right? And with the advent of COVID, people are spending way more time behind screens, okay? So your website matters more than ever. And we're gonna show you the secret sauce, essentially, of how to make your website convert better and some of the technology that we're leveraging in that space, okay? Next slide. 57% of internet users say they won't recommend a business, including you, Mr. or Mrs. Real Estate Agent, with a poorly designed website on mobile, okay? And I hate to say it, right? We're not gonna be slinging any mud today, but there's some bad actors out there that are putting some sites out on the market that do not perform well. They don't have the conversion elements necessary. They don't load an appropriate amount of time for you to index on mobile, okay? And we're gonna talk about how to fix that in some cases today. 85% of adults think that a company's website, when viewed on a mobile device, should be good or better, as good or better than its desktop site. This is a flip from what you're used to, right? As we know, we were the founders of one of the largest CRMs in the country, right? FirePoint Solutions, my brother and I, even them, right? To this day, most of the sites are prioritized desktop. I know everybody's working on it to be mobile first, but when we're building sites in a custom environment, we build mobile first and then we port it to desktop. This is a best practice today. Johnny, am I moving too fast? Are we good?
No, bro, you're moving perfect for me.
Awesome, awesome. And this is the last one before we dive into the actual content. 38% of people, think about that. If 4 out of 10 of your clients stop engaging with you because the content or layout are unattractive, you just lost 40% of your business just because of a website. Okay.
You know what? I 100% agree with this. My old partner at More GCI, he was a rare breed of a person. They call him a UXS. And for those that don't know what that is, he's a user experience strategist. They don't make them on every corner, right? And it takes a very special person to sit there and be mindless and really dig into what that experience is like. But the user experience is so important because, just like videos, you said a half a second when they land on your website. You got that right, man. If I click once and I can't start to find what I'm looking for, I'm out.
You're out. Yeah. And I mean, these numbers are huge, right? If you're doing 20 transactions and you lose 40% of those because you got a crappy site, I mean, that's a lot of money. That's your livelihood. And yeah, UXS, man, those guys, I say they have split personalities. Like they've got it to be good at their job, right? Because they've got to detach themselves from their own mind to understand what works on a website and what doesn't. Like, God bless them.
I love them.
So Guys, what we're going to do now that we've gotten your attention, we're going to dive right into the content. This is just a little bit about me. I don't love talking about myself. Wrote a book on SEO, got invited to go spend some time at Google, founded a bunch of companies. I'm a nerd when it comes to RETS architecture and MLS integration. And I also did some stuff for the government. Cool. That's that. Quick history lesson. Guys, there's been a trend of emulating a buyer model for the last 15 years in the real estate space. And I want to unpack that a little bit. Okay. So what happened? Let's go back in time, right? What happened was Zillow came out, okay? And it's a buyer focus. It's browse MLS in. And then we've got the Redfins and we've got all the different big box players. And then the CRMs start popping up. And what do? They emulate the Zillow model, the browse MLS in, search homes in. Nobody's even thinking about seller focus on their website, right? And we have data science PhDs on staff and we do doctoral level research in the real estate space. And with one of our studies, we found that that's actually wrong. Consumers, when they're looking to browse for homes, they don't care about you, Mr. and Mrs. Agent. They go to realtor.com and Redfin and Zillow and all the big box players because that are indexed on the first 2 pages, 3 pages. They've been conditioned to do that over the last decade. When they're looking to sell their home faster for more money, they are looking for you. But they can't find you because all you're giving them is 100% buyer focus above the fold, and you're not indexing for any seller terms because you don't have any seller content on your site.
Thank you.
Right? So this is to set the tone. When we build websites, right, they're fully custom and they typically will have a seller focus above the fold. Why? Our research shows they convert about 400% better than browse MLS in whatever, search for homes in. That's not a value proposition. They can get that anywhere on the block. Right.
And every real estate agent offers the same thing like that.
Right. And so, and oftentimes we hear it all of the time. Well, I just, hey, you should use my system, not Zillow. Nah, Zillow works better. Yeah, it's a great user experience. Duh. They've been conditioned to do that.
And you know what, David? I say this in a lot of my analogies so much is that why did Zillow win? Is because you go there and it's simple. It's not how great you are. It's not how great anybody is. It's not blah, blah, blah. It's simple. And that's why Zillow won over the agent saying, give me your information. Right. But you're right. If you made it a source where there was good, valuable information that differentiated yourself from the other 3.7 billion websites that are out there that focus around real estate, you stand a better chance of converting that lead.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the data doesn't lie. Right? The numbers are very clear that when you have a strong value proposition that is seller focused, you get more seller leads, like duh, right? So
you focus on expands, yeah.
Yeah, totally. So and this becomes ever present and extremely important because of some things that are happening in the industry right now. Right? I know you're so busy out there closing transactions and going to listing appointments and driving around neighborhoods and everything. And so this stuff you probably don't know of. But these last 4 bullets right here, guys, there's a consolidation happening with all of the lead sources. We're already starting to see volatility and fluctuations in cost per lead nationwide. Okay, pixels and cookies, they're going away. They're not going to be allowed anymore. Okay, and so your ability to market leveraging a canned website is going to go less and less and less. And then, of course, there's more capital pouring into the real estate tech industry than any other industry in the United States. Okay, and it's the largest segment of the U.S. economy. So wake up.
And Google My Business is changing yet again.
Yes, right. GLS just changed again. Google My Business is changing again. Oh my gosh. I mean, it's like literally they do an algorithm update every single day. You've got to like live there to keep up with all of it. But anyway, guys, that's a quick history lesson. So let's dive into what it actually means. Okay. So what we have seen across the industry, and guys, I'm slinging mud on myself, knowing that we started one of the largest CRMs out there, is canned solutions aren't good enough anymore. Okay. And this is just a truth data statement. Some of the largest CRMs in the countries, they're copy pasting blog content from one site to all of their client sites, hundreds, if not thousands of sites across the country. That is the cardinal sin of SEO. And it's happening on your site potentially, right? So they're not paying attention. They're not doing what's right to serve the client. They're doing what's right to line their pockets with money, okay? So, and we're gonna share some of that information here today. So 90% of the hundreds of sites that we've analyzed, we're getting close to 1,000 that we've done actual audits on, don't meet Google's performance standards, i.e. load in 2.5 seconds or faster for their LCP, okay? And I'm gonna show you a bunch of those real world screenshots from real world sites that we've looked at where failing is normal. and the real estate agent and the real estate industry when it comes to website performance. Okay. Is all this making sense so far, Johnny?
It is to me. And I just want to say this, right? So many agents do exactly what you just said. They get their KV core, they get their whatever they get for their CRM, right? And they jump right in and all they do is upload their picture, upload their logo, put their information, then they're done.
Yeah.
Right. There's so much more to it.
It's so much more. And you can spend a little bit of time to give your website a little flair, a little personality, right? And we're going to talk about like a unique value proposition. It is what it says it is. If you have on your website, browse MLSN or I can sell your home. Yeah, no shit. That's what every real estate agent on the planet can do. How are you different? That's what needs to go on your site as a unique value proposition. And I'm going to show you some examples. We have a client. He's like, I don't really have anything unique. I'm new to the industry. So he's got a hilarious statement how he's ranked #1 by his mom and people love it. It converts super well. Like, right?
So I think it's Scott Bear is his name. I can't remember his first name. Has a book out called Talk Triggers. And he talks about why people talk about you or talk about your business. And one of the businesses that he dives into is the Cheesecake Factory and their Encyclopedia Britannica size menu and how that within itself is the talk trigger, right? But, voted #1 agent by my mom is another great talk trigger. People are going to talk about it. It's different. Every one of y'all can do the same bloody thing.
Absolutely. Right? And it's hilarious. You're searching through to see what you're going to have for lunch. And there's, advertisements for Maseratis in a menu. Like, who does that? It's hilarious. Good on them, man. So guys, the real big takeaway here is canned sites cannot keep pace with the rapidly changing market, the high level of customization, new technology, and the ability to change your website on a moment's notice. Not only that, to actually control and own your site, your domain, and the traffic to that site. Newsflash, there's a lot of CRMs out there where you don't, and good luck leaving, okay? And we'll talk more about that today. So this next slide, I scrubbed off all of the compromising information, i.e. their URLs and business names, but these are just screenshots of real web audits that we've done in the real estate space. This is normal for load times to be 43 seconds, 16 seconds, 21 seconds, even 5 seconds for the full load time is failing, right? According to Google, fail. This is normal, right? And most of these are coming from CRM-based sites. And that's not good enough to convert organic traffic into leads, okay? And we're gonna explain how a custom website loads fast, you control it, it's fully customizable, and it converts organic traffic into leads as a revenue stream. So I'm gonna actually teach you the ROI equation of a website. So you can calculate this on your own website for you, okay? So my recommendation, okay, and this is just Dave Tam, I don't speak on behalf of any of the companies, is I would recommend that you stop prioritizing paid leads due to the volatility that we're seeing in the cost per lead, as well as the consolidation of those lead sources, and fix your freaking website. And get a seller-focused site that converts well, and that will be a long-term revenue strategy to offset that you won't need leads over time, right? And we do have clients today. We talked with one of them earlier today, 2,200 transactions, 0 paid leads, 0 paid leads. Why? They've done all of the work to make their website generate a ton of business for them, and they've nurtured the crap out of their database. So they've got a huge PCSOI and review cultivation business. It's fantastic. And they're insanely profitable. That's where you can be, okay? So we're gonna talk a little bit more about how. So custom sites build assets. What we mean by this is your website is a monetizable asset. Right? When Barbara Corcoran sold her company, what was it, 66 million or something like that? Her website and the amount of traffic that was going to her website, ergo the amount of leads it was generating and the revenue that came from those leads, was an item on the balance sheet. Right? It's on your financials because it can be a lot. I did an ROI analysis on a site that makes $800,000 in profit a year, just from lead flow organically. It's entirely possible. You put a multiplier behind that, you're retired. So when we talk about custom sites, this is not just to be able to beat your chest a little bit and say, hey, I have a sexy site. It's gonna make you money. And I'll show you some case studies on that later in this presentation, okay? So I want you to slow down and ask yourself 3 questions. How much traffic is your website getting, organic and paid? And if you don't know how to find this, you can reach out to us, cast.services on our website. We'll point you in the direction of a couple of analytics tools that we use so you can figure out how much traffic is coming to your site. SEMrush is a great one that we use, that you can actually sign up for a free subscription. They'll probably punch me if they see this, but just check your site and then you can unsubscribe, right? So how much traffic is your website getting? How many organic leads does it generate? Because this is where we see the disconnect in the industry of, hey, I've got 500 or 1,000 people a month coming to my site organically, but it's not generating any leads, i.e. your conversion rate is 0. Why? Because your site is slow, it's buyer focused, you don't have a lead form above the fold, you don't have a unique value proposition, you don't have a clickable phone number, and there's nothing compelling on the site to keep them there when they could just go to any of the big box players. So, and then you're left scratching your head, why am I not making money off my site? It's because you're not meeting the consumer where they are. Okay.
Like Zillow.
Yeah, and I saw Zillow, man. Like I poke them in the chest a lot, right? But like they did it right.
I just use them as an example for everybody else out there. Everybody complains about them, but they met the consumer at the time where they were at. Yeah. You just said you've said it twice, maybe 3 times at this point, and there might be some people out there that don't know what the term means. But the fold, what is the fold?
Yeah, thank you, man. So it's an old, actually comes from newspaper when you would unfold the newspaper. But when we're talking about websites, it's what loads on the site as a default before you have to scroll, essentially, right? It's your hero section. Yeah, great question. So, and then what you have to ask is, how do my numbers differ with respect to an organic lead versus a paid lead, right? So, and you have to know these things, because if you can get 5 or 10 organic leads a month from your website, which is entirely possible. I mean, we have clients that get 50 to 100 a month organically, right? They do SEO as well, but, and you can turn a third of those into a transaction, your website's going to be making you several $1,000s a month, just recurring revenue to be able to offset other marketing spend, or you can just invest in your site. It becomes its own self-looking ice cream cone. Okay. Nah. Typical custom sites that have all the conversion elements that I just rattled off, that load in under 2.5 seconds, have a compelling UVP, unique value proposition, will typically convert between 0.5 and 2.5% of organic leads to traffic. Okay. Yeah, we've seen much higher than that as well. We do have some that are in the 6s and 8s, which are, it's crazy, right? You put 10,000 organic visits to that. That's your lead flow for the entire year, for 1 month, right? So that's kind of the method behind the madness when it comes to your website as an asset. So let me show you Tristan's site. Okay, we just finished his, and this is his. A across the board. It loads well faster than it needs to meet the Core Web Vitals update, the last Google algorithm update. Right? That essentially says if your site is a crappy user experience, I'm allowed to say that on this, right? Yeah. Sorry if anybody is offended by that. But the algorithm itself is actually going in to look at the user experience of your site. And if it's a poor user experience and it's slow, then you're likely not going to be indexed for the terms that people are looking for, i.e. generating any traffic or leads from your site. It's just a waste of time at that point, okay? And space. So these custom sites that we're going to show you, they're not just gorgeous, they're built to perform. They need to be both, okay? You need to be proud of your website and want to show it off to the world. And I know for a lot of you on this, it's, hey, I've got that canned site and it doesn't really do what I want it to do, and I don't really like to show it to people. I hear that all the time. And it's sad, right? Because you've invested in this asset that you're not really using. It's not doing anything for you, right? Because it's not being maintained. So does that all make sense, Johnny?
It does to me, for sure.
So guys, these are questions I want you to ask yourself again. How fast is my website? Okay, reach out to us, cast.services, and we'll give you a couple of crawler tools. We can use GT Metrics. If you just go to GT Metrics, you can go to several other crawler tools that will look at the speed of your site and tell you how fast it is. And then, do I have the conversion elements needed to capture leads? Okay, and you don't have to have a lead form right above the fold. Tristan elected, he wanted it right below the fold. That's totally okay too, but he's got that path of least resistance for the consumer when they want to volunteer their information and do business. Newsflash, guys, when somebody's going to register on a website to buy or sell a home, they're going to register on a minimum of 4 to 6 others in a 30-day period. So if you're not giving them the path of least resistance with a lead form and a clickable phone number and keeping them on the site with a fast site and about unique value proposition, they're gone. and they're not going to register, and you're going to lose that business. And you're not just losing your business, you're putting it on a silver platter and you're handing it to your direct competition saying, have a nice vacation, buy another company car, right? And it's all about the website. So how much control and customization do you have on your site? Ask yourself this. And if you're not able to customize the copy, the imagery, the performance, the conversion elements, and it's all just copy pasted nonsense that all of your competitors have as well, that's not a good look, guys. Like, it's 2021. We're about to roll in 2022. We need to get with the program here. And
I'm gonna let everybody in on a little secret about templated sites.
yeah, let's go, man.
They all come from the same IP address. So what's eventually going to happen, what the web crawler is going to say, oh, we know what's there on these other 150 sites. It's all just the same thing, right? In order to stand out on some SEO practices, you got to be unique.
You have
to be unique, because if you're not unique, then they just pass you over as same as everybody else.
Dude,
so that's one of the problems with templated sites.
Which is a lot of the CRMs. It is literally copy pasted content from your direct competitor to you to the next market. Like, go look, right? That you're not allowed to do that, guys. Like, that doesn't work anymore. Okay, and there's going to be a culling, and we're going to see it happen in 2022. It's all going to roll out, right, with all this consolidation, and some people are going to be very grumpy. And we're just trying to show you there's other options, guys. It doesn't have to cost you a farm. Okay, so let's talk about cutting edge technology. Actually,
yes, please.
This last piece. What has your website provider done to innovate and keep pace with the market over the last 90 days, 180 days, year? Anything? Okay, so that's what we're going to show you here. We are continually innovating and building new programs to make the websites convert better, stay stickier, and rank better. Okay, so this is a little thing that we created. Essentially, we're piping in IP address based weather data, okay, from one of the largest data aggregators on the planet. And then we are changing the hero image based off of what the weather is at the office of the location of the website. i.e., if it is raining outside, it is raining on your website. If it is cloudy outside, it is cloudy on your website, right? It's kind of a parlor trick, but it's also really compelling to see that you're actually engaging your client and you're providing technology to make it a more immersive experience that people want to come back and say, hey, it's hailing out. Let's see if it's hailing on the site, right? Like, this is live on our sites and it's sexy and it's cool. Your provider needs to be innovating and building new technology, not just using some boilerplate, copy paste, pay me money. It will never rank. You're never going to make leads and you don't have a leg to stand on, because that's the market today, right? And just being honest with you guys. Okay. So, and if you don't know what heat map, you know what this is. Tell me what this is.
Oh yeah, sir. That is a heat map.
That's a heat map, baby. This is what's called Confetti. So, and if you've never seen this before, I wanted to show it to you. This is some people that we work with, and you can see they have a ton of traffic coming to their site. What this tells you is where people are engaging your site, where they're not engaging your site, and where they're coming from when they engage your site. Like, this is things that you need to be doing, or your website provider needs to be doing. Because newsflash, when we do web audits for large players in the industry that are using canned sites, it's not a good look. 60% of the content's never getting engaged with. It's slowing down your site. They've got these high resolution loop videos that are tanking the site performance that nobody cares about. Stop, right? We actually added the phone number to this website, and you can see the phone number right here. It proved that phone number got engagement when we added it to the site, to the tune of, there's like 27 leads in there of people picking up the phone and calling, or clicking and calling. Okay, so it works. Very, very cool stuff. If you want some recommendations on how to hook this up, Cast.Services, fill out a lead form. Derek, who's on this call, Derek, say hi to everyone. Unmute yourself. Derek is our director of client success, and he will follow up with anybody that reaches out and point you guys in the right direction. Okay. All right. Let's talk about Tristan. I got to ask you some questions. Do you get excited to show your website off to your clients, agents you're recruiting, lenders for co-marketing, right? Because guys, this is your storefront. Your website is a direct reflection of you as a business professional.
Sure. I've always said that your website is an extension of your business card and in your resume, and it's right there. Everybody's going to search you on social, on web, see what you're about, see what you stand for before the meeting.
Yeah, totally. It's the largest transaction they're ever going to make in their life, unless they're buying billion-dollar yachts, right? But like that, it's true. And it's also an extension of your personality. And
Sure.
this is something that, like, as a marketing guy, it's like we really try and tease out, what do you stand for? And then and make that site be a reflection of you as an individual. And that's what we did for Tristan. We made it compelling with some really high resolution, fun images that have interactive dynamics, right? And of course, you see his beautiful smiling face there. And it's on mobile. Why? Because over 80% of the traffic coming to the site's on mobile. Why are you going to have a picture of a computer, right? Like, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Okay, so if you're not excited to show your website off to your clients, agents you're recruiting, lenders, referral partners, LCA, LabCoatAgents, why not? Write those reasons down, okay? And let's talk, because we got some solutions for you, okay? This next one, we're gonna do some math. How are we on time, by the way? Oh, we're great. We got half an hour.
Okay. Oh, we got nothing but time, bro.
All right, so John, we're gonna do some math here, and we're gonna calculate the ROI equation of how much money your website should be making. This math is lost on 99% of real estate professionals out there. And when I explain it, it's like, oh, light bulb goes off. Website is a revenue stream. Honor it. It can make me lots of money in the long term, opposed to having to, plug nickels in the slot machine, hoping you get a good lead from one of the paid lead sources, which we all know, internet leads, right? You would much prefer to have an organic lead that came to your site, saw your value proposition, filled out their information, and raised their hand asking for help.
I would.
The ability to convert that lead compared to a PPC lead, it's night and day. It's night and day. I mean, I got off a phone call this morning with an individual. We built his custom site. We've been running some SEO. He blew his sales goal out of the water by $22 million.
Wow.
Yeah. Like literally 60% increase in his business in a 12-month period. Just from changing his freaking website and doing some SEO. He's all over page one for everything, right? He's the only independent. Everything else is big box players on page one and page two. Okay, his name's Jimmy. I'll introduce you sometime. Okay, so let's talk about custom websites that make money, because that's why we're here. Eric Hatch, his custom website made about $250,000. It's a couple of years old. Lee Garland, we changed his life. We gave him his life back by giving him a custom site that generates leads, so he doesn't have to pull his hair out, with all these paid lead sources. And the site is, we're going to do a refresh of it. It's beautiful. And Lee Garland's an amazing human being. Okay. So let's talk money. What we have to look at is organic traffic. Okay. So, and you can find this out with the crawler tools and the analytics tools, SEMrush. You can see how much traffic do I have coming to my site. And then what you have to figure out is how many leads am I getting organically? Okay. And that the variable there is the website conversion rate. Again, 0.5 to 2.5%. There's definitely sites out there in the 5s, the 6s, and the 7s for sure, because they're ours. Okay. And that will tell us what our organic lead flow is. Now, I'm gonna pop quiz, Johnny. If I were to give you 10 opt-in leads, okay, that had name, email, and phone number that came to your site, that registered and asked their hand, wanting to do business with you, how many of those do you think you could turn into a transaction over, like, let's say a 30-day period?
Oh boy, I mean, I would go with industry average, which would be one.
I mean, it's potentially one.
I would think that with proper follow-up, you have the name, email, and everything else like that. And it's a quality opt-in lead like that, and they were serious. I think that you should be up into the 70%.
Yeah. So you're right on target. Our clients are typically between 40 and 70%.
That's fine.
4 to 7 of the 10 leads that come in organically, they can turn into a transaction. If you're good at your job. If you're not good at your job, that's okay too. Maybe you're new. Maybe you got some other stuff going on in your life, and you're doing half of that. You're still getting 2 to 3 transactions every month from your website. What's your average price point where you are right now, Johnny?
Oh, for me, it's got to be about $450.
Okay, so average GCI 12K after taxes, taking home 7-8 Gs.
Yeah.
Right. So that means that step 3, true conversion rate of, okay, I'm going to turn 2 to 3 of these into a transaction times the average GCI after taxes I like to do, means that this this hypothetical website will be making $22,000 a month of GCI just from organic lead flow. That tells me, what am I allowed to spend, right? Because this is a marketing channel, just like all your other marketing channels in the omni-channel marketing approach in the real estate space. You need to honor what your website is and how much you can spend on it. So if I spend $3,000 a month on my site for update and content and SEO and all the other cool stuff, I am now 7-to-1 ROI for my organic traffic. And we typically see that organic falls at the very top, and then all the other paid lead sources are below. It's just the way the market is. And it's going to continue to be that way. So does all this make sense? The math behind how much money your website could and should be making?
It does to me, absolutely. You know, my only fear with many agents is they want to spend $49 and get 10,000 leads.
Right, which is an exercise in futility in and of itself. Why? Because then you're going to be out and chasing all of those leads and ignoring what matters. Okay. I would much rather get you far fewer leads with a much higher quality lead that you can turn, i.e. have a higher cash conversion cycle, how often I can turn those leads into a transaction on a rolling basis, compared to average internet buyer leads, dude. Nurture time, from what we're seeing, 14 months all the way up to 18 months.
Up to 13 follow-ups, and the average agent's going to quit after 2. So your opt-ins are a much better way to go. I follow this concept. I don't know if it's accurate in every walk of life, but it's all about the quality. And I just simply say less is more. I'd rather have less quality leads, and I'm going to do more business with it. And this is a way that you can walk with that big stick. And it's working for you 24/7. And to me, this is probably one of the most important places to leverage.
I totally agree. And let's get theoretical on this. So the reason for that is, when somebody registers on your website, you own that relationship and the lifetime value, the LTV of that client, which is going to on average do 5 to 7 transactions in their lifetime. Okay. So you get all of that recurring revenue for all of those transactions. How that individual I was talking about that did 2,200 transactions with 0 paid lead spend is able to do that. Right. So Zillow doesn't like this though. They don't want you to own the relationship. Okay. They want to rent you the lead and then take it back and make you pay every single time. And that's what you're doing. That's what most people are doing. They're sticking their finger in the dominoes. They're grabbing the lead and renting it back to you for 35% on the tail end. God bless them. Brilliant business model. Like, you know what I mean? It's that immediate quick fix, kind of like need it now, right? Opposed to let's invest in our site and have a long-term revenue plan to not have to depend on paid lead sources over time.
Can I just tell everybody how important what you're talking about is? More so since last Friday or Monday, I think it was last Monday, when NAR and your elected officials, real estate agents and brokers from around the country voted that, and it's always been this way, now it's just going to be a lot more prevalent, like as big as your name, with an email and a phone number, the listing agent's information is going to be on your site. That's why having a seller-centric website is going to be so important, because as Gary Keller once said in a little book that he wrote that a couple people bought called The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, listing leads leverage, right? Listings leads leverage. And listings have always been and always will be the most powerful thing you can have in our industry, and it is a piece of marketing collateral that you get paid for when you sell it, of course. And having some SEO when somebody is typing this stuff in and landing on your page. Here's the thing about Facebook advertising, SEO, and Google. When you're on Facebook, it's kind of like a big net being thrown out there, and who sticks around will retarget again. Where with Google and with SEO, it's intentional. They're intentionally typing something in. Are you present? When they land there, they're looking to what I don't want to say purchase, right? Or they're looking for your service, right? They're looking for your service. So that you need to be present there. Sorry, I just went on a tangent.
No, I don't think a lot of people know about that change that just happened. Like, you're not unique anymore, right? That listing agent's personal information is going to be right there. It has to be right there. It's going to be mandated, right?
Right next to you.
Right. So what do you think they're going to do? Especially if they go try and find you on Google and they can't find you. Yeah. Or they try and type in a seller focused term because they're looking to list their home and they can't find you. right? Or they come to your site and it's super slow and a terrible user experience, and you're just giving them some canned nonsense that 18,000 other people all have, right? Like, it doesn't work anymore. And we're going to start to see the impact of that in the next 30 days, which I'm really excited for, because we've got our radars on and are going to be vacuuming out the information and data, probably finding a solution for it, just like we did for custom websites and AI-driven SEO and all the other cool stuff that we do. So beautiful, man. I just wanted to showcase some of the design elements of the custom sites that we build, and to know that you really do stand out. You really are unique, and they are really bespoke. And the fact that we can build anything. You want a purple cheeseburger? Great. We'll put it on your site. I wouldn't recommend it, but you know what I mean? It gets to the point with us really wanting to make it personal, right? There's Eric's goofy ass. And then we've got, Matthew and their family, right? It's a picture of them. It's showing the personality. Okay, Eric, I love you for watching, by the way. And then Tristan's is the same way. As you come up here, you got to have imagery of the face, of the people that are doing the work. Okay, because that's what's going to resonate with the consumer. And this goes back to like marketing 101, guys. So why it matters. Okay, today's market, 94% of first impressions are impacted by your website design and utility, and 89% of home buyers and sellers will use your competitor if you give them a poor user experience. How crazy is that? It's what I used to call the silver platter concept of, you're not just losing the lead, you're putting that lead on a silver platter and handing it to your competition because you're not good enough. And I hate to say it, and I don't mean to be rude. I should say the website isn't good enough, but not you. We're all wonderful people here, right? But it really is, if you're in the business of first impressions, your website needs to reflect that. Okay.
Now, if you want to look like that, you're modern, professional, sophisticated, whatever the term may be, you need to not look 1996.
Yeah, totally. And it doesn't mean, guys, that you got to go spend 25 grand and pull your hair out for 90 days. I mean, the technology we're talking about here, like $5,500, we'll have it done in 6 weeks. It is a painless process. It's actually enjoyable. It's fun. You get to actually extract your creative juices and get this site that you're super proud of. You know what I mean? And that's important for you and your business and for your family, right? It's paying the bills.
Yeah. And once it's built, it's built.
That's the thing, man. That's the thing. It's like, you make the investment and you're good. You do need to update it. You need to keep it fresh, right? And what we recommend is modern testimonials, right? That came in recently, listings that you absolutely crushed, more recent imagery. We really like the seasonal thing, right? If it's
feed the beast.
Yeah, man. And that stuff doesn't take a lot of effort. 30 minutes a month is usually what it takes to maintain a site, to be cutting edge and keep it fast. Update all your plugins, right? Just like Tristan's, 96%, okay? So now when we're talking about seller-focused sites to convert leads, we also do a whole bunch of other stuff that I wanted to show you. We also do recruiting, expansion markets, coaching, right? Brendan Bartek, huge shout out to that guy here in Denver, Colorado. He's in my backyard, so I'm obligated to do so, and he's a really cool human being. But we help with all that stuff. And guys, what you got to realize is there's other channels of business ancillary to your core business model, all right? Alternative revenue streams. And you got to ask yourself, if you're a real estate agent, where do I want to be in 5 years? Okay, and we're talking about, do you have a solution for capturing mortgage revenue? Do you have a solution for capturing insurance revenue? Are you a coach? Are you teaching? Are you recruiting? Are you looking at expanding your market beyond just your current footprint? What is your plan? Because if you don't have one, you need one. And we can help you with that, for sure. We've helped some of the largest real estate enterprises in the country. We work with billion-dollar companies on a regular basis for this stuff, okay? So if you need help, seriously, I come across pretty aggressive because I'm passionate about this stuff, but we're here to help. And so if you want to go to cast.services to learn more about some of the stuff that we do, absolutely go for it, okay? We're going to open it up for Q&A here. I just got to make a quick plug. This is our website. If you want to, with your mobile phone, that's a QR code that'll lead to a landing page where you can also register. And then Derek is on the call. He is a complete badass. I love him. He's our director of client success at Cast Services, and he will be responding to all of the emails and leads that come in a timely manner. So barrage the heck out of him if you want to. Sorry, Derek. Okay.
And if you guys have any questions, put them. We got monitoring the LabCoatAgents main group, and also for the folks that are on the live webinar on Zoom with us, go ahead and put that in the chat if you want. I'll ask a couple of questions for sure. So you get this really cool website.
Sorry.
Who's handling the maintenance of it every month? Is the individual agent? Are you? Is there packages for you?
Yeah, no, we handle all of the way we structure it actually is we give 30 minutes of web dev labor to every custom website per month for free. It's part of the management fee, right? And so I shouldn't say for free, it's part of the management fee itself. And what that does is we're updating all your plugins. You can add new team members, you can change out your hero image, we can up whatever you want. And that's the things that need to be happening on a custom site. Just like you got to change the oil in your Ferrari, right?
Oh,
yeah. So, because these are Ferraris and Lamborghinis of the real estate space.
They're your own website that you own, built on a WordPress backbone.
Yeah. So we've done WordPress, we've done Divi, Elementor, all different things. Yeah. Whatever really necessitates. For some of the larger like coaching enterprises, we'll pivot over to some e-com sites, right, and architecture backbones. But usually for a real estate website, we don't need that. That's the cool part though. You own the URL, it's yours. It grows over time. It's an investment strategy. So that it's an insurance policy. So you know that long-term, I'm not gonna have to pay for leads for the rest of my life as we watch the cost per lead go up and up and up and up and up, right? And the pool of leads and the quality of lead go down and down and down and down and down, right?
And the players inside that segment become less and less and less because it's more expensive. And another thing Gary said 5 years ago, that mega teams will become the future, and we're seeing it happen.
Oh, totally.
Because in order to jump in and have any kind of play against Zillow or Realtor or any of these others, you better open up your pocketbook.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And $300 or $400 ain't going too far no more.
Not, man. I mean, we have clients that pay $300, $400 a lead, right? Like it will all day long, because if it gets you, a $480,000 price point transaction, it's extremely ROI positive, right?
So let's talk about a step further. You got this really cool website. It's out there in the interwebs, hanging out, doing its thing with SEO, Google's spidering it, crawling it, whatever they do. Now all of a sudden they have it all indexed. What else should an agent be doing? Should they be doing Google ads? Should they be doing retargeting on Facebook? Mm-hmm. Is there anything additional that they should do, or does the SEO itself provide enough sustenance for the majority?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I'm very biased in this space, and I will always prioritize organic and SEO over paid all day long. I personally handle tens of millions of dollars of ad spend across hundreds and hundreds of campaigns over many years, and it's extremely hard to get a high quality paid lead on a regular basis with a stable cost. Whereas with organic, it is the self-licking ice cream cup. If you have a site that you're putting a little bit of content on and a little bit of SEO juice to on a regular basis, it will index over time and surpass all of those CRM sites. I mean, we see it immediately. I literally was on a call earlier today of his site and the sister site that we built. They're the only independents on page 1 and 2. Everything else is big box $1 billion players. Right. And so, I'm not a huge fan of paid leads, Facebook or PPC. I'd much rather go the organic route. And then what that looks like is you can do it on your own. That's totally okay. We can provide guidance for it. We do offer AI-driven SEO services, i.e. we actually use artificial intelligence in the SEO space, right, for automation of a lot of those tasks. And you know what those core fundamentals for SEO are: backlinking, content creation, optimization, off-page, all those. AI is a big player in that, so that we can do it at scale, right? So does that answer your question in a pretty long-winded manner?
It does. So it's an investment in the future. So if you guys, and here's the thing, right, is this is coming from me, and this has always been my approach, is you're building a business, right? And you got to invest in the proper assets. Now, if you got the self-employed mindset, then this might not be the right product for you. And what I mean by that is the self-employed person wants to put a little money in, get some, move on to the next. They're all sale driven. They want to do 36 sales a year, 23 sales a year. This is a vital part of business building, right? And I say this, and I don't want to sound condescending, but a lot of agents are just self-employed, just looking for the next deal, trying to survive, right? Matter of fact, Tom Ferry says 82 or 87% is our fail rate, right? Or the NAR says that too, is our fail rate. This is for the people that are thinking about 5 years from now, a year from now, that are building a business, because this as an asset, and I can tell you that somebody from the .com world, your digital assets are valuable, have value. And when you go to exit the business, if you ever in fact exit the business, you can stay in business until you're 97 with the websites that generating leads and hand them out and just receive referrals. But the moment that you leave that templated site, everything goes away. Then you got to start all over. I wish more people would borrow the money if you have to and put your proper tool. The most important tool, I think, is a website, because it's working 24/7. You can point people there. I don't even have a business card. I send you to my link tree. My link tree will send you to my website, right? So your website is your business card, but it's also your resume. It's also your sales pitch. It's also your director of first impressions. It's that important. Invest in yourself, man.
Yeah.
Invest in yourself.
I totally agree, guys. And I'm going to say something that probably won't go over super well with Derek and my team, but guys, even if you don't do it with us, just do it. Like, this is where you need to be as a business professional, controlling the asset and the website and the traffic that comes to that website for your long-term business health, right? And your website, it's a safe space. It's a safe space for somebody to come and learn about you and decide if they want to do business with you or not. And if your website isn't fast, compelling, and sexy, it's not going to work. And we see that all of the time. When we audit websites, we see sites that have 500, 1,000, 2,000 organic visits a month with a goose egg for lead registration. And people are paying thousands of dollars a month for paid leads. Like, it makes zero sense to me. You're just lighting money on fire every single month, because I don't think it's like you're not bad people. You just didn't know. You know what I mean? It's a lack of education in how you can monetize the digital space when it comes to your website. So yeah, great freaking point, Johnny.
So there's a company out there. There's two companies out there. There's probably more companies out there that are heavily into expansion and agent attraction, if you would, and the ability to earn passive income. And I can't help but to think that if you put some time and energy into that on a secondary page, it doesn't have to be on your homepage, but on your secondary page, that within itself would, and you can actually have your own URL for that too. Right. And now all of a sudden you got a page that is professionally SEO'd up around why the agent should go with you and what you offer and what you give.
Totally.
Right. And now all of a sudden, as you are able to expand into other areas, you're taking your website that you own that ranks, and you can slash Santa Barbara and open up a whole new topic of conversation, if you would, or page about that. Are you getting me? This is why owning your own architecture is vital.
Absolutely, man. It is. And this, I mean, there's a lot of different ways we can cut that cake as well. Even if you're not there, you can generate leads there and just send them out and get referrals all day long. Dude, we have a client. He's in 9 expansion markets. He only works one of them. He just generates leads in all the others and sells them out and makes a killing on it, right?
I had a dream one day that I'd be sitting in a hot tub doing exactly that same thing.
Yeah, totally. And we have clients that are well on the way. I mean, when your website, when you can tie back $250,000 in GCI to a website that's just a couple of years old, that should be a light bulb, right? Of, hey, there's an opportunity here. So, and here's the cool part about it is the leads that are generated organically, they found you. They came to you, right? And so they want to work with you, and they've already volunteered their information. So those conversations are a heck of a lot easier than, hey, we tricked you into clicking on an advertisement on Google, and now we're going to call you 15 times to try to get a hold of you, right? It's a completely different conversation. It makes your life a heck of a lot easier when you're dealing with organic leads only, or the preponderance of organic leads, and you only do paid leads to kind of top off the tank when you need to feed your agents or you're expanding, right? That's the business methodology of where things are going in the future.
So let's talk about some turkey real quick. You dropped the number 5,500 earlier. That's a full build, and you know what? I'll be honest with you. The price hasn't gone up in 10 years. Right?
Literally, we priced this because we wanted to make it accessible. We wanted single agents to, hey, I got a closing, I can have a custom website now that's seller focused, that actually converts, that ranks for things, that isn't using copy pasted content and takes 27 seconds to load.
So with the 7-to-1 ratio ROI, in theory, that one closing is going to get you 7 more. I think that's brilliant. What about monthly? What's the monthly cost?
$250, and that gets
That's
you. Yeah. So we've got, well, that's it. So we give you 30 minutes of web dev labor every single month. Use it if you'd like. If you don't, that's okay too. We'll keep everything completely updated, fully compliant. We have our own server. We purchased our own architecture, so it's super SSL secure on our end. That's how it runs super freaking fast, right? Because we're not paying for some crap in Uzbekistan, that takes 29 seconds to load.
Shared rack space.
So yeah, and also that, but you get access to our internal webinars and beta technology. I mean, some of the stuff that we would have to be under NDA to talk about, like we have a virtual reality solution that's coming out soon. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible. I mean, it'll blow your mind. We have multiple AI solutions that are currently live in beta in multiple markets. Tristan's one of the users. And so you get access to those things when you have a custom site, because we're not going to plug that technology into some canned site that doesn't work well and then have our stuff with So yeah, $250 a month keeps your site. And then we also have AI-driven SEO. That's starts around $2,500 a month. And we have clients that were on page 1 in the first 6 months that immediately have a lead flow. In fact, his name is Jimmy Simeon in Texas. I'm going to name drop him here really quick. That's the guy I was talking about, who I've got the numbers here. They were expecting 51 million. They're now expected to go to 82 to 85 million this year.
Wow.
And they attribute that to their website and the SEO.
Wow.
Which is crazy. Yeah. What are the questions you got, man?
Listen, man, not popping up here, but guys, it really is. If there's one thing that Zillow has taught us, if Google has taught us, if Facebook has taught us, if all these other companies that want to give you leads that are on Opcity or these others that are charging a referral fee, it's a pay to play game. It really is. The real estate space is a pay to play game. You're going to pay one way or another. One of the biggest mistakes I see is that people get into the business ill-equipped with capital. And that's often what gets you stuck with one of these templated sites.
Yep.
And now all of a sudden you try to do your own Facebook ads and you're like, oh, Facebook ads suck. You're not going to spend $32 and compete with, companies that are spending thousands. It's just logically not. It doesn't make sense. So this is a pay to play world. You get to own your own stuff. I think it's a brilliant leverage play. Again, might not be for the noobs, but if you're an agent and you're trying to go from 5 million to 10 million, 10 million to 15 to 20, this technology then becomes your solution. It has to be, because there's only so much time in a day for you that you have to leverage. And when this thing can work 24/7 and it works properly, unlike the other 76.7 billion websites that are out there that are geared towards real estate, this is optimized. And that SEO juice, that organic traffic, that's money, dude. Put that on a cracker.
Well, for me, it's just like that. I can breathe. I got a website that I know performs well. It's making me business. It brings in leads. I'm proud of it. I want to show people to it. People are always asking me who built it. That's what I want everybody watching this to feel. Like it's that peace of mind and be able to sleep at night knowing it's taken care of, check that box and focus off the other big ticket items in your business. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
So David, how do they find you?
Yeah. So contact page, hit us up. Feel free to visit our website, cast.services. We'll retarget you and stalk you on the internet when you're shopping for tube stocks at 3 a.m. And then you can just email Derek directly if you would like as well. Derek@cast.services. Okay. And guys, if you have questions, hammer them out. And when this goes on YouTube, when this goes on the LabCoatAgents site, seriously, because we're engaged, we're going to be in there and we'll be answering questions if you have them. Okay.
Sounds awesome. Everybody listen, go to cast.services. .services is the .com, if you would. Go to cast.services. David, accept my friend request. Thank you for being here. And everybody, if you need anything, reach out in LCA, reach out to the moderation team. This video is also going to be put on YouTube, so you can catch the replay there as well.
Awesome.
Everybody, on behalf of LabCoatAgents, David, thank you for being here. Peace out, y'all.
Thanks, guys. Have a great rest of your day. All right, cheers.
Bye.